Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to sit down for this one. I need you to clear your schedule, put your phone on silent, and prepare yourself for what I am about to tell you, because what happened on February 15th, 2026 at the Grange Golf Club in Adelaide, Australia, was not just a golf tournament. Dramatic pause. It was a resurrection. It was a vindication. It was the kind of moment that makes you question everything you thought you knew about comebacks, about second chances, about the limits of the human spirit. Surprised. Anthony Kim just won a professional golf tournament. Let that sink in. Let it wash over you. Anthony Kim, the man who vanished from professional golf for 12 years, the man who fought addiction, the man who survived 7 surgeries, the man whose doctor looked him in the eyes and told him his life was in danger. Our sna in awe. That man just walked into the final round 5 shots behind Bryson DeChambeau and Jon Rahm, 2 of the most dominant names in the sport, and he absolutely demolished them. 9 under par, a 63, a 3-shot victory, his first professional win in nearly 16 years. And when the dust settled, when the leaderboard was final, when the crowds were roaring around the 18th green, the golf world stood in stunned silence before erupting into disbelief, because this was not supposed to happen. This defied logic. This defied probability. This defied everything we thought we understood about how sports stories are supposed to end. A ghost came back to life, and he did it by beating 2 of the most powerful players in golf at the exact same time. But here is the thing that takes this story from incredible to genuinely historic. It is not just the scorecard. It is not just the final numbers. It is what Anthony Kim said before that final round, what happened inside that final group, what Bryson DeChambeau had publicly declared about him in the days leading up to Sunday. That is where this story truly begins. And once you hear all of it, you will understand why fans everywhere are saying they have never felt anything quite like this in golf. To fully appreciate what Anthony Kim accomplished on that Sunday in Adelaide, you have to understand exactly where he had been, because the gap between his last professional win and this one was not just a number on a timeline. It was 12 years of silence, suffering, and a fight to simply stay alive. Anthony Kim won 3 times on the PGA Tour. He played on the 2008 United States Ryder Cup team at Valhalla and delivered one of the most electric individual performances the event had seen in years. 2 wins, 1 loss, 1 half across 4 sessions, capped by a dominant 5-4 victory over Sergio Garcia in the singles. He played on the 2009 President's Cup team. He once made 11 birdies in a single round at Augusta National during the Masters. He was, by every measure, one of the most gifted young golfers on the planet. And then in 2012, an Achilles injury ended his season. And then the seasons kept ending. And then 12 years passed. What happened in those 12 years was not spoken about in full for a long time. But Anthony Kim eventually spoke about it in fragments, in interviews, in small moments of honesty that the golf world was not entirely prepared to hear. 7 surgeries, a body that was breaking down, drug and alcohol abuse that consumed years of his life, suicidal thoughts, not as a passing moment, but as something he said he had contemplated for almost 2 decades, even during his years on the PGA Tour. He entered rehabilitation. His body, in his own words, was shutting down. A doctor told him his life was in danger. He was barely aware of Tiger Woods' 2019 Masters victory. He did not even know some of the updated rules of golf. He was that far removed from everything. When Live Golf offered him a contract in 2024, he had only been playing golf for a few months. His game was, in his own description, flat out terrible. He scored 0 points across 13 LIV events in his first season and was relegated from the circuit at the end of 2025, not quietly retired, not gracefully stepping away, relegated, sent to the back of the line. Most people assumed the story was finished, but Anthony Kim fought his way back through the LIV Promotions qualifying event in January 2026, finishing 3rd to earn his spot for another season. In November 2025, he had shot a bogey-free 7 under 64 at the PIF Saudi International, his lowest round since 2011, and finished tied for 5th, his first top 10 finish in 14 years. By the time he arrived at Live Adelaide in February 2026, the progression was real. Jon Rahm, watching it from the inside, said that the jump in Kim's game from their first time playing together to now was genuinely impressive. Bryson DeChambeau called his journey an incredible story of going from the lowest of lows, almost leaving this earth, and coming back 1% better every day. But nobody, not Rahm, not DeChambeau, not his own captain, Dustin Johnson, not a single analyst or fan genuinely believed Anthony Kim was about to win. They were all wrong. Now, here's the detail that the scorecard alone does not tell you. Before the final round at Live Adelaide even began, Bryson DeChambeau had publicly spoken about Anthony Kim in a way that set the stage for everything that followed. Going into Sunday, DeChambeau and Rahm were tied for the lead at 19 under par. Kim was 5 shots back at 14 under. The final grouping was set. DeChambeau, Rahm, Kim, 3 golfers, 3 wildly different stories, 1 golf course, 1 trophy. And DeChambeau, who had been paired with Kim for the first time, could not stop talking about him, not in a dismissive way, but in a way that, in hindsight, made the events of Sunday feel almost scripted. What an incredible story, DeChambeau said Saturday evening. Going from the lowest of lows, almost moving away from this earth, and then coming back and really taking accountability and raising his little girl and being a family man and being 1% better every day. It's an inspiring story. He's an incredible talent. He's starting to show it. And for him to be in the final group will be fun. I haven't played with him yet. He had not played with him yet. That was Saturday. By Sunday evening, he had. And he had watched Anthony Kim shoot 9 under par while he stumbled to a 74, but the public narrative around Kim and DeChambeau went back even further than Adelaide. In September 2025, during the lead-up to the Ryder Cup at Bethpage Black, Brandel Chambly on Golf Channel had called DeChambeau a captain's nightmare following some comments Bryson had made about Rory McIlroy. And Anthony Kim, already making waves in his LAV comeback, had jumped into that controversy loudly and publicly on X, firing back at Chambly in defense of DeChambeau. If everyone is giving their money to charity, who cares? Kim posted on September 25th, 2025, shooting directly at Chambly. He called the Golf Channel analyst Ramble Chambly and pointed out that unlike Chambly, he himself had actually played in a Ryder Cup and knew what it took to win one. He posted footage from his 2008 singles win over Sergio Garcia. To make the point, he tagged DeChambeau directly. He was loud, unfiltered, and 0% diplomatic. It was Anthony Kim publicly defending Bryson DeChambeau on one of golf's biggest stages, and the golf world noticed. So by the time the two of them stood on the first tee at the Grange Golf Club together for the final round, there was a relationship there, a mutual respect, a story within the story. What nobody anticipated was that by the 18th hole, Anthony Kim would have called out Bryson DeChambeau in the only language that truly matters in professional golf. Not on social media, not in a post-round interview, on the scorecard. DeChambeau shot 74, Kim shot 63, an 11-shot difference in the same round, in the same group, on the same golf course. Fans could not believe it because it was not supposed to happen like this. From the very first hole of that final round, something felt different. DeChambeau got off to a bad start. The 2-time U.S. Open champion, a player who had spent years engineering his game into something almost mechanically dominant, who hits the ball further than almost anyone alive, who had finished the 2025 season as one of LIV Golf's most consistent performers, could not find his rhythm. He was hanging in there, as Kim would later describe it, just hanging, not threatening, not surging. Rahm was playing halfway decently, at least early. The Spaniard is one of the most mentally durable competitors in golf, a player who has won major championships on both sides of the Atlantic. He was not going to hand this tournament away easily, but Kim was doing something extraordinary. He was making putts. Every time he needed one, it fell. Every time the tournament asked a question, he answered. He started pulling back the deficit hole by hole, birdie by birdie, while the two co-leaders were unable to extend their advantage, and then he got close. And that is when he made the most calculated decision of the entire round. When I got close, I felt it was very important for me to be seeing what he was doing, even though my focus needed to be on my game, Kim said afterward. I like to know where I was compared to the other leaders. That is the mind of a champion operating in real time, not ignoring the leaderboard and playing within a bubble, actively, intelligently using the information around him. A player who had been away from professional golf for 12 years, who had only been in the final group a handful of times in his comeback, managing the pressure of a live leaderboard like a veteran who had done it 1,000 times. By the time Kim reached the 18th hole, his approach shot finished pin high. The crowd, which had been building energy and emotion for the entire back nine, surged around the green. Kim looked up and was visibly taken aback by the volume of it, by the scale of what was happening. He admitted afterward he did not quite know what to say. I don't really know what to say right now. It's a bit overwhelming right now, but I'm never not going to fight for my family. God gave me a talent and I was able to play some good golf today. Never not going to fight for my family. Those 6 words are the entire Anthony Kim comeback story compressed into a single sentence. DeChambeau finished tied for 3rd. Rahm finished 2nd. He had been playing decent golf, as Kim noted. He just ran out. Of course, it was Dustin Johnson, Kim's captain at the Aces GC team, who delivered the quote that hit the hardest. I know all the hard work he's put in. I know all the things he's been through. To see him come out on the other side of it, especially playing in the last group with Bryson and John, and to go out and play that round of golf was really special. Maybe other than me and maybe him and the guys on our team that believed in him, I don't think anyone else did. I don't think anyone else did. Not even the people watching, not even the people who had been following the comeback. Nobody genuinely believed that Anthony Kim, 5 shots back going into the final round, was about to shoot 63 and walk away with the trophy. And now we get to the part that turns this from the greatest comeback story in LIV Golf history into something even larger. After his win at LIV Golf Adelaide, the conversation in golf shifted almost immediately to one question. Could Anthony Kim play in the major championships? The answer, surprisingly, is yes, and the pathway is real. After Kim's victory, he sat 2nd in the LIV Golf individual standings for 2026, behind only Jon Rahm. Under a special exemption announced by the USGA, the top LIV player not otherwise exempt, who sits in the top 3 of the 2026 LIV individual standings as of May 18th, earns a spot in the 2026 U.S. Open. With Rahm already likely to be exempt through other criteria, Kim's position in the standings puts him in genuine contention for a U.S. Open start, which would be his first major appearance since 2011, 15 years between major appearances. He also has potential pathways into the Open Championship through LIV standings criteria, and paths exist, narrower but real, toward the Masters and the PGA Championship, depending on how his season continues. Dustin Johnson's captain quote echoed louder in this context. Nobody believed it was possible. And yet here was Anthony Kim, not just back on tour, not just competing, but positioned for a run at major championship starts that nobody in golf had dared to predict even 3 months earlier. His way of Zakir Tingzari, the Adelaide victory, was telling. Instead of a traditional victory party, he took a family vacation to Thailand with his wife, Emily, and their daughter, and included lengthy range sessions during the trip. Because the commitment to getting 1% better every day does not pause for trophies. That is the mindset of a man who has been to the bottom and knows exactly what it took to climb back up. Every swing matters, every round matters, every day matters, because he knows better than anyone that time is not guaranteed and nothing can be taken for granted. Anthony Kim went from being relegated off the LIV golf circuit at the end of 2025 to fighting his way back through the promotions event to winning LIV Adelaide by beating 2 of the sport's biggest names to potentially playing in major championships in 2026. All of that happened in a span of approximately 4 months. The golf world called him out. He answered. The fans could not believe it. They are still talking about it. And the question that lingers, the one that will follow this story through every remaining event of 2026 and beyond, is a simple one. If Anthony Kim can come back from everything he came back from, beat everyone he beat, and play the golf he played on February 15th, 2026 in Adelaide, Australia, then what else is possible? For anyone who's struggling, you can get through anything, Kim said in his Greenside interview. And that quote reached far, far beyond the golf world. This was not just a sports story going viral. It was a moment that cut through the golf bubble entirely and reached people who had never watched a round of golf. Now. Comments poured in about second chances, about addiction recovery, about what this meant for anyone watching who was in their own fight with something they were not sure they could beat. February 15th, 20,000. The Grange Golf Club, Adelaide, Australia, a final round nobody will ever forget. A man who was told his life was in danger, standing over a putt, standing in front of a crowd, standing at the end of a journey that almost ended him, and he won. This story has only just begun. What happens next could turn Anthony Kim into one of the most compelling figures golf has ever seen. If he makes that U.S. Open start, if he walks onto a major championship stage after 15 years away, the narrative becomes something beyond sport. It becomes something that transcends statistics and trophies. So drop your answer in the comments. Tell me what you think is possible, because if Anthony Kim has taught us anything, it is that the story is never over until you stop fighting, and he is not stopping.